Chapter 1. I was the most trusted right-hand man of the mob boss the day. Dominic was ambushed. He pushed me as most trusted man to the only lifeboat. But I didn't make it either. When I opened my eyes again, I was back. Reborn, I stared at Dominic's face flushed red, his body burning up with fever. Gritting my teeth, I shoved that scheming bastard Ethan aside. Get your hands off my boss. Let me take care of him. Dominic backed away in shock. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't even like guys taller than me. The next day, I struggled to pull Dominic's head off my chest. Dom, it really hurts. ... What woke me up was the noise, chaotic voices shouting, but my body didn't hurt, no sense of dying at all. Hurry, go find Ethan Brooks. The boss has been drugged and he's asking for Ethan? That son of a bitch dared to drug our boss right under our noses. The voices of the little guys filled my ears. I glanced around. I was sitting on a luxurious leather sofa. Looked like I'd just been sleeping deeply before I could clear my head. They'd already dragged Ethan over. Brooks, you better get in there. The boss is burning up. Just rub yourself against him. Maybe you can help. Ethan's eyes flashed with something sharp, but he quickly covered it up with that innocent, clueless look. What's happening to Dominic? Ha, what a phony. He looked like some harmless nerd with those thick glasses, but inside he was full of poison. In my last life, it was him who betrayed Dominic leaked. Our route out to the rival gang got everyone on that ship killed. There can't be two kings in one jungle. And after Ethan fooled my boss into falling for him, he ran right into the arms of the enemy. When Dominic shoved me onto the lifeboat, he was still mumbling. If I'd just agreed to that plan to get you married, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Bet you haven't even tasted what it's like to be in bed with someone yet, huh? That was the last thing he said before pushing me into the boat. Go back. Look out for Ethan for me. Don't let them find him. You two are what I care about most. ... But Ethan the man Dom was thinking of even as he died was in the rival boss's arms when he aimed that gun at me. Without a word, the shot rang out, and the ocean swallowed me up. God, that water was cold. As I sank, all I could think was it would have been better to die with Dominic. Snapping back to now. I saw Ethan had his hand on the doorknob. I rushed over and shoved him aside. Get your hands off my boss. Let me do this. Ethan went sprawling onto the floor with a yelp. I ignored the confused stares of the little guys, shut the door behind me, and locked it. This time, I was going to protect Dominic myself. Dominic was sitting on the sofa, drenched in sweat, panting hard. His lips were bright red, his eyes glassy. I'd followed him loyally for so many years, but never really studied his face. I always knew he was handsome, had that rugged, manly charm, but I never imagined that drugged up he'd look like this, flushed. Cheeks, hazy eyes, ... My mind went blank. My face burned. How'd you get in here? Where's Ethan? I clenched my jaw, furious. All he could think about was Ethan. Not knowing the man would one day betray him, get him killed. That Ethan with his nerdy glasses and scrawny build eye had no idea what Dominic ever saw in him. Not like me. Years of training gave me muscles to die for. Guys, girls, they all loved getting close, running their hands over my chest, compared to me. Ethan wasn't even worth looking at. I stepped closer, putting my chest right in front of Dominic's face. Dom, I don't trust Ethan. Let me take care of you. I trust him, he said weakly. If you need anything, come to me. My chest muscles cast a heart-shaped shadow on his face. I saw the color drain from his cheeks. His body lost its tension. He shrank back, eyes wide in alarm. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't even like guys taller than me. I yanked off my shirt, grabbed his hands, put one on my chest and the other on my waist. Come on, Dom, just this once. You can make do. His fingers instinctively curled around my waist. His voice softened, pretty firm. His eyes flicked down behind me, and that ass. Round 2. Damn it, Dom. Ethan was banging on the door, shouting, before he could get in and ruin everything. I swung a leg over, straddling Dominic, cupped his face, and kissed him. What's wrong with you? You can't get it up or something? His eyes turned dark and dangerous. Oh, he could get it up, all right. The next day by noon, I was blushing, trying to pry Dominic's head off my chest. Dom, it really hurts. Looked up at me still. Not satisfied, smacked my ass affectionately. Never figured you for such a little slut in bed. His voice was hoarse. He handed me a glass of water, then lay back beside me. All right, spill it. How the hell did you end up in my bed? Well, since we were already here, I turned to face him. Dom, please, break things off with Ethan. His smile faded. Kick me out of bed, you little bastard. First you sneak into my bed now. You want me to dump Ethan? You've got some balls, huh? I winced, rubbing my sore backside. Dom, I'm serious. Don't be with him, he laughed, half angry, half amused. Jason, when did you get so hung up on this? Relax, I know. What I'm doing, Ethan. Ethan's different. Isn't having me enough for you? Bullshit. Last night I was drugged. That doesn't count. My eyes stung. You don't have to admit it, but please don't be with Ethan. He's already got someone else. To support his lover behind your back, it was a lie. But I had no choice. Dom's face darkened. In the end, he told me to get out. My clothes were shredded, so I wrapped up in towels and limped toward the door. Wait, face flushed, Dom handed me some fresh clothes from the closet. You're not walking out of here like that. So I walked out wearing Dom's shirt, his scent all over me, and there was Ethan, still outside. He looked at me like I was filth. You're disgusting last night. It should have been me. In my last life, I barely dealt with him. I'd just fake some polite excuses, take the money and leave. But now, seeing him like this, I realized I'd been blind. I smirked, tugged down my collar to show the marks on my neck. What's wrong? Jealous? Dom was amazing last night. A glass shattered nearby. At the elevator, the little guy stood frozen, and there was Dom at the door, blushing to his ears, shooting me a glare like I was embarrassing him. Don't talk like that. Out here? Then he looked at Ethan. Get inside. We need to talk. After the door closed, the little guys draped a jacket over me. Jason, you heading back to your room? No need. All I wanted was for Dom to stay away from Ethan. But honestly, Ethan was just a piece of the puzzle. There'd always be someone else, some Marcus or whoever, plotting against Dom. What I really needed was to deal with the man pulling the strings. Marcus Hill. I sat on the bed, chain-smoking, trying to figure out where to start. Marcus and Dom had known each other since they were kids. After reconnecting, they'd become sworn brothers. Marcus had even taken a knife for Dom. Once, nearly losing a kidney, who'd believe Marcus wanted Dom dead? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't either. Jason, what's with all the smoke? Dom kick you out? Tony dropped onto the couch across from me, nose wrinkled. You're not seriously planning to seduce the boss again, are you? I kicked him. Shut up. I'm just thinking. What's the fastest way to get close to those top dogs? Or influence their decisions? Tony hesitated, clearly worried. You're not really going to try to seduce your way up, are you? Do you even know what you look like? You call that seduction? Tony rubbed his nose, looking me up and down. Hey, you're not bad looking. Just a little dark, that's all. Straight guys might not be into it, but trust me if he swings the other way. You're exactly his type. Dominic's horrified expression shifted from Tony to me. You know that much about it? I'm kind of scared to talk to you now. After that, Dominic stopped. Taking me along when he went out, said I should rest up. I didn't get it. Why was he going out with Ethan again? I still didn't know how, in my last life. Ethan ended up teaming up with Marcus Hill. So while I had time, I started staking out Marcus's club, waiting for a chance. On the third day, Marcus invited me inside. He sprawled on the sofa, long, legs stretched out, looking at me with that fake smile that didn't reach his eyes. Jason, what's with sitting out there? Why not just come in and take a seat? What the hell was I supposed to say? I'm spying on you. Come at me if you've got a problem, just don't touch my boss. I just wanted to. Couldn't even finish making up a story before. Someone came in and said Ethan was here looking for him. Was this when they started getting involved? You know what? If you want to get things done, you can't sweat the small stuff. Screw it. It's time to seduce first, think later. I sprang at Marcus, dropped to one knee. I've admired you for so long. I've been waiting outside just to catch a glimpse of you to ease this longing. Marcus's hand trembled a little, nearly spilling his wine. His eyes flicked to the doorway, then he burst out laughing. So you've been secretly in love with me? Why didn't you just say so sooner? And right then, Dominic walked in face like a thundercloud, yet the air around him so cold it felt like ice. I instinctively tried to go over to him, but Marcus grabbed my wrist, patted my cheek. Sit down. Like a good boy, we can finish our talk later. The minutes crawled by. Ethan sat beside Dominic. I was stuck next to Marcus. Dominic didn't look at me once. That was worse than if he'd glared at me. I didn't hear a single word of what he and Marcus discussed. All I could think was, why the hell didn't anyone tell me Dominic was here? Since when did Ethan outrank him? Jason. Marcus pinched my waist, snapping me out of it. Aren't you going to walk your boss out? I jumped up ready to speak, but Dominic cut me off with a cold, no need. It felt like someone dropped a rock on my chest, heavy, bitter. I knew he'd gotten the wrong idea, but it still hurt. Just before the door closed, I saw his face blank and cold. The way he turned his back, it reminded me of those soap opera heroines who have just seen through their cheating lovers. And wasn't Ethan right there at his side? Marcus blocked the door, smiling down at me. Double quotes. So, ready to talk about that little crush of yours? Marcus wanted me to prove my devotion, but how? I'm not sure how. He smirked, led me upstairs to a private suite, started rummaging through a drawer while telling me to strip. While I was still hesitating, he was already on the bed with a whip in hand. Need me to help you with that? As his hand reached for my shirt, I panicked. Wait, can we talk first? Connect emotionally? Emotionally? I'm already worked up. Now you want me to cool off? Please, I'm shy. Truth was, I still had marks on me that hadn't fully faded. Marcus agreed, but only if I sat at the edge of the bed, wearing ankle cuffs, while we talked. The room fell silent. Why aren't you saying anything? Wasn't this your idea? Never been in a relationship, let alone with a guy. I had no clue what lovers were supposed to talk about. I racked my brain, and all I could see was Dominic's face. Gritting my teeth, I started to lie. The first time I saw you, my heart was racing. I didn't know what it meant, Eve. Never been in love before. You're always so busy. A lot of times you're in meetings, and I can only stand outside and wait. But just seeing you makes me happy, not seeing you. I miss you. The other night I dreamed someone took you away. First thing I did when I woke up was come find you. I don't care about my status anymore. I just wanted to tell you how I feel. Marcus's eyes actually softened. His ears even turned a little red. Didn't expect you to remember the first time we met. Huh. He came closer, cupped the back of my neck, leaned in. Why aren't you closing your eyes? I'm about to kiss you. Oh God. These guys were all crazy. In my panic, my eyes landed on the chain around his neck. I don't want to rush. I need to feel safe. Could you give me something? Like that necklace? Or your watch? Or that file? Bag? Or your jacket? Ha ha! I just want to see them. He hesitated, took off the necklace but didn't hand it over. You're asking for all that? You should give me something too? I checked all my pockets, but didn't have a thing worth. Giving his gaze roamed over me, then he grabbed my wrist. This red string's nice. That'll do. No way. That string Dominic gave it to me. 10 years ago, when I ran away from the family that took me in, I nearly starved to death. I was lying there on the street when Dominic found me. Back then, he was just a street kid himself. Bad-tempered as hell. For no reason, he kicked me. Saw I was still breathing, and for no reason, took pity on me. Later, he said it was because I looked like I could fight. But I was skin and bones worse than Ethan. First few days, I was so sick I could barely take in any food. Everybody thought I wouldn't last the fall. Dominic didn't say a word. Just went to the nearest temple and got me that red string for protection. I've worn it ever since. He named me Jason because if I could survive 1 week, then another. Maybe I'd live to be an old man. I can't give you this string. And before I could think twice, I leaned in and kissed the corner of his mouth. Chapter 3. I've given you my heart. It's more precious than anything else. Taking advantage of his dazed moment, I snatched the necklace from Marcus Hill's hand and stuffed it into my chest pocket. Marcus's eyes turned red at the corners, and he suddenly began tugging at his tie. My hands were wrenched behind my back, bound tight with his tie. Then he put a blindfold over my eyes, plunging me into darkness. I felt the heat of his breath. At my neck, Marcus grabbed my chin and pushed my head to the side, his tongue tracing and biting along my neck. My body trembled uncontrollably from fear. All I had meant to do was mess up whatever progress he and Ethan were making together. After all, with my dark, plain looks, there was no way I could actually seduce Marcus Hill, so I'd gritted my teeth and tried anyway. But now, it seemed he really was interested in me. Then what the hell was Ethan to him in my past life? I froze. Marcus started pulling up my shirt. Sweat broke out all over my head if he so much as raised it. He'd see the marks all over me. If he saw them, I'd probably die right here. With a loud bang, the door was kicked open. I let out a breath of relief I didn't even know I was holding. Marcus's grip on my waist tightened. He growled, "Get out. Can't you see I'm busy?" But the noise didn't stop. Footsteps approached, heavy and unrelenting. I heard fists landing on flesh, thud, thud, bound as I was. I couldn't take off the blindfold to see what was happening when I was lifted onto someone's shoulder. I was so startled I tried to struggle until I caught a familiar scent. I was thrown onto a bed. Heart pounding, senses heightened in the darkness. Rough breaths grazed my neck, making my skin prickle and burn like it had been set alight. A hand gripped my throat, and a mouth bit hard, as if trying to erase Marcus's marks. When those bites moved down to my chest, I couldn't hold in a whimper. Not there. It hasn't healed. A hard slap landed on my ass. You know, it hasn't healed. And you're out there flaunting yourself? That voice so familiar. My heart ached. Dominic, you'll never know I offered myself up for you. To repay your kindness, I've been willing to take the hit for you, to be your solid shield, to keep you from dying at Ethan's hands like last time. I threw myself at Marcus Hill. You're my one and only big brother. Even at that critical moment, I didn't give him the red string, but you didn't hear me. You're still with Ethan, always together, and you call me a tease. The blindfold was torn off. The sudden brightness made my eyes stream. Dominic froze, then awkwardly wiped my tears. You went out chasing another man behind my back, and I didn't even cry. Why are you crying? Why can't I cry? I want to cry. Sat on me, brows knotted tight, then leaned down and crushed my broken sobs with a kiss. I couldn't breathe. He finally let go to let me gasp for air. You really have a thing for Marcus Hill? Of course not. I barely even spoken to him. The necklace slipped from my pocket, and with it, my courage returned. I just wanted to get close to him and get information. But when I opened it, it turned out to be empty. Panic rose in my chest. His gaze bore into me, dark and heavy. As I struggled for words, he dove down again. It had better not be true. If you're cheating, you'd better hide it well. If I see you with another man again, you'll die right here in this bed. Before long, my chest was tingling, itchy. I tried to push him away. It hurts. No use. It hurts, Dominic. The man grinding into me laughed, calling me by my full name instead of Big Brother. You're asking for it. Even though I'd failed to seduce Marcus Hill, Dominic had beaten him black and blue. The next time they met, both of them acted politely enough. Half a month passed, and Marcus's bruises still hadn't faded. Dominic had really gone at him. Maybe it was my imagination. But Marcus's eyes seemed to follow me everywhere. Today's meeting was mainly about next month's shipment. It was a big one, high risk, high reward. Dominic and Marcus discussed it and decided to go in together. But in my past life, Ethan leaned on Marcus's shoulder and drove us to our deaths. Taking the entire shipment for himself, I didn't know if that was their plan this time too. But I wasn't going to let Dominic and Marcus work together. When Marcus went to the restroom, I tugged Dominic's sleeve. The scent of him washed over me, burning my face. "What's with that look? Don't try to seduce me," he flicked my forehead. Ever since that day he carried me home, he'd been like this, always teasing. "Let's not deliver this batch, okay?" He said nothing, just pulled me onto his lap and fed me, after a long while. He finally spoke. "You think I can just decide not to deliver it?" I rarely saw him this serious. It felt like something big was coming. Did he know that this shipment might cost him his life? My heart trembled so hard I couldn't stop myself from hugging him. "If you really have to go, remember I'm your bodyguard. If there's danger, push me out first. Don't make me hide." This life of mine was his gift. I didn't care if I died. But he was precious. He'd fought so hard for this position, only to lose it all so soon. He patted my butt, smiling. "When have I ever let you take the hit? Isn't that what makes me your big brother?" He was right when he found me. I was dumb and clumsy, always messing up. He took the beatings for me, taught me bit by bit. I was his most trusted follower. But I hadn't even caught a bullet for him once. He patted my face. "Why are you crying like that?" Only then did I realize I was crying without even knowing when it started. There was noise at the door. I tried to get up, but Dominic covered my face and lifted me into his arms. Chapter 4. I'll skip the meal. I'm in a hurry to get home and comfort my wife. Dominic had been clinging to me for days on end, torturing me to exhaustion. I had just pushed his head away when he immediately leaned back in, just like a stubborn puppy. "Dominic, I really can't take it anymore." He pretended not to. "Hear me. On the day we set sail, I had no choice but to stick bandages across my chest. Without them, every movement sent a sharp pain through me. The sea breeze on the deck was piercingly cold. Dominic's hair was tousled, revealing his handsome forehead. When he saw me approach, he lifted a hand to smooth his hair back down. "Didn't you sleep well last night? Why are you out here?" Out of the part of his hair that covered his forehead. There was a scar from the time he saved our boss's life. Since then, Dominic had become the godson of the boss. Ever since getting that scar, Dominic had let his hair fall forward to hide it. I reached out and brushed his hair back again, smoothed it down. I brushed it back once more. "I think you look great with your hair slicked back, like a movie star." His eyes flashed with a strange emotion. The ship rocked slightly. Dominic took the opportunity to pull me into his arms. "Jason, do you know the saying? What makes you can also break you. This scar made me who I am. But one day it might destroy me too." I didn't quite understand what he meant. I remembered in my last life, just a few days before we were supposed to dock. Marcus, Hill and Ethan suddenly showed up and ambushed us. I hadn't seen Ethan at all during this trip so far, and idea what he was plotting as we neared the docking date. My nerves were stretched to the breaking point. At night, unable to sleep, I sat by Dominic's bed, keeping watch over him. I wasn't sure when it started, but outside on the deck came the sounds of shouting. Lights flashed briefly and went out again. I got up to go out, but a hand gripped mine tightly. "Don't move. It's all right." I couldn't rest easy. I'd been given this second chance at life. How could I just sit by and watch Dominic die? I tried to get up anyway. He panicked. "I told you, stay here. If I stay here, am I just supposed to sit and wait to die? Am I supposed to make you wait and die with me?" He leaned in and hugged me tightly, patting my back over and over. "Jason," I said, "don't be afraid." Before I could answer, someone shouted the stern was on fire. How? I had checked everything over and over. Flames lit up the stern. Most of the crew rushed to put it out. In the flickering light, I saw a larger ship shadowing as not a single light on, like a ghost drifting on the sea. The cargo on board was all dry goods. Once ignited, it would explode in no time. It might be too late to save the ship, just like Dominic had clung to me in my last life. This time I grabbed his hand and ran toward the escape hatch. I strapped a life jacket on him and shoved him toward the lifeboat. Go now, before it explodes. The thought of Dominic still ending up dead nearly drove me mad. He tried to tell me to calm down, but realized he couldn't even pull me back. The flames reached the cargo hold, and before I could haul Dominic onto a lifeboat, the stern exploded. A blast of heat swept over us. Instinctively, I shielded Dominic with my body. The life jacket on my back melted in an instant. My whole body felt like it was being scorched alive. I trembled in pain. Dominic's mouth was moving, but I couldn't hear a word. The world seemed to blur with falling sparks. I saw the large ship draw closer, from up high. Marcus Hill laughed, mocking Dominic. As a fool, telling him he was as good as dead. Where was Ethan? Ethan was right beside Dominic. Dominic opened his arms toward him. Ethan drove a blade into Dominic's gut. I clutched Dominic, his lifeless body, and cried as we drifted higher and higher. My body shuddered, jolting awake the person. Beside me, you're awake, nurse? Nurse? He's awake. Come quick. I bit my tongue hard, tears springing to my eyes from the pain. It wasn't a dream. I wasn't dead. Dominic wasn't dead either. It turned out Marcus had a tracker hidden in his necklace. Dominic had discovered it. Marcus tried to have our ship torched. But Dominic had already seized control of his ship. That's why Dominic kept telling me not to worry. He had it all planned. He knew someone would come for us. It was just I'd let panic cloud my head in this life. Dominic had outplayed them all. If there was any downside, it was this. My back and the back of my head were badly burned. A scab had formed itchy and painful at the same time. Dominic sat by my bed, gently applying ointment, his eyes brimming with tears. I shouldn't have kept it from you. I never should have taken you on that ship. But I was scared something would happen to you if I left you behind. I gritted my teeth against the itch, trying to comfort him. Scars are a man's badge of honor. I think it's great. When I take off my hat, let's see who dares mess with me. He laughed and cried at the same time, cupping my face and kissing me all over. From that day on, Dominic even moved his work into my hospital room. His little guys lined up at the door, calling me seventh brother's wife. So was I seventh brother and the wife, or seventh brother's wife? It was ridiculous. When my injuries had mostly healed, Dominic went to sort out my discharge papers. I stayed in bed folding paper stars, hearing footsteps. Didn't even look up. Let me finish these last 10, then we'll go. Not until I felt the cold steel against my neck. Did I realize it wasn't Dominic? It was Ethan, who had vanished for so long. Seeing my shock, he gave a cold laugh. Jason, you really are insufferable. I wanted to throw the words back at him. I was afraid he'd actually use the knife. Ever since that night when you pushed past me into Dominic's room, everything changed. Dominic's eyes used to hold only me. But after that one night, with you, he started to ignore me, stopped answering my calls. I went to Marcus, and you showed up again. He actually said he'd trade me for you told Dominic to hand you over. This shipment was just a pretense. Either Dominic or Marcus had to die. The one left standing would take over the boss's empire. No matter who won, I should have been the one to benefit. But you ruined it all. If you think you're the heroine of some trashy romance, that everyone's fighting over you? To be honest, when I first realized I'd been given a second life, I really did think I was some kind of chosen one. But of course, I couldn't say that out loud, although I could take Ethan down easily. With the blade at my neck, one wrong move, and I'd be bleeding. I promised Dominic my life came first. It's all my fault. He froze, not expecting me to give in so easily. As you can see, my face is ruined now. Dominic's disgusted whenever he touches me. He's just too polite to kick me out after I saved his life. Chapter 5. You should take your chance now. It's the perfect opportunity. There was a flicker of hesitation on Ethan's face, and his grip on the knife loosened just a bit. Here's the deal. Let's switch clothes. Give Dom a dose of something. Seal the deal. Make it look like you two were meant to be. He'll drop me in a heartbeat. Wasn't he into you before anyway? The knife clattered to the ground. Ethan started urging me to take off my clothes. Maybe he really had reached the end of the line. Why else would he be this stupid last time? Around Ethan had the brains and the ruthlessness to take Dom out. But in the end, his greed got the better of him. If you steal a man's heart, you should own up to it. Thinking you can play people and get away with it to deserve whatever comes back at you. By the time Dom burst into the hospital room, breathless, Ethan was tied up in my patient gown, dumped on the floor like trash. I'd just folded the last of the origami stars and gently set the glass jar on the table. 999 stars, grant one wish, I said quietly. Dom collapsed onto the bed beside me, his legs shaky, his teeth clenched as he pulled me into his arms. If you died, I'd have gone with you. The fear and panic in his voice cut deep. But after they dragged Ethan away, and Dom checked the surveillance outside the room, his face changed. So when I touched your scars, I discussed you. You'd let Ethan drug me so you could trap me like that. You really think I'd toss you aside the second I saw him? His eyes were dark and furious. I curled up under the blanket, afraid, saying the wrong thing would only set him off more. He grabbed me, his mouth finding the scar on my neck. Pleasure shook me to my core. Then I felt heat against my skin. He was crying. My chest tightened. Jay, is your wish for me to always stay by your side? To trust me like I trust you? Don't say shit like that again. It kills me inside. 3 years passed. Dominic had risen to power, the new king of the game. Marcus Hill was dead, and Dom inherited the old man's entire empire. He was smart, ruthless, built the business bigger and stronger, but the stronger he got, the less the Don trusted him. 3 times a month, the old man tried to rein him in. Just yesterday, he called Dom, told him to get ready for the weekend, said he wanted Dom to meet his goddaughter. Dom still had his arm around my waist. When he took the call, he agreed, gritting his teeth. As soon as he hung up, his eyes were on me, nervous as hell. I teased him. Look at you. Still such a hit with the ladies. He didn't find it funny. He buried his face in my chest. But the truth was, I was the one who was dying inside. A man like Dom couldn't exactly tell the world he was in love with another man. So I had to watch him go through woman after woman, each one another meeting or match arranged by the boss. At first, the old man didn't suspect anything between us, told me to stick close to Dom and help him out. But after a while, he figured it out, called me to his house, told me to know my place. Said if I didn't, he could always take Dom down and find himself a new son. After that, I stopped going out much. Didn't want to make trouble for Dom. I'd see him off at the door, watch his car drive away, then I'd go back inside, clean up, watch TV, eat, sleep. In my dreams, I was drifting on an endless sea, about to drown. A hand reached out, pulled me from the water, cleaned me off. A voice whispered, "Stay by my side. Trust me like I trust you." That voice calmed the storm inside me. I only woke when there was no air left in my lungs. Dom was so close I could feel his breath on my skin. I've got good news and better news. Which do you want first? The good news. The company went public. The old man's executive director? Gone. And the better news? I'm chairman now. First thing I did was announce we're getting married. I stared at him, stunned, sitting straight up on the couch. You can't do that? Won't it mess things up for you? He shoved me back down, grinning like a kid who'd won. I'm the boss. My call.